Evan, how exciting has this fall been for you? Not only your fall as your senior year at the academy and with the football team and everything, but now being a finalist as a Rhodes Scholar.
Yeah, Scott, it's been a whirlwind, that's for sure. It's been super busy. I never anticipated that I'd have this much on my plate, but I'd never imagined that I'd have this incredible opportunity. And it's great that I've been able to balance football with all the extracurricular stuff as well.
How do you become a finalist as a Rhodes Scholar? What's the pathway to that?
So I began the process in July by applying to the Naval Academy's International Scholarship Program, and they help facilitate a bunch of the scholarship processes to the UK and beyond. So I began my application in August while I was doing the football camp stuff as well. And there's really nothing except 2 statements you submit, and then 8 letters of recommendation I submitted along with my application. And from there, it's just a waiting game. I found out I was granted an interview, which only the finalists get to do. So there's 14 of us, and then 2 of us will be selected as scholarship winners for District 5 in DC.
That's so neat that you get to go to DC and do the interviews. Was it a little bit of a tough decision knowing that your team would be playing?
It was super tough. I deliberated for a few days, but at the end of the day, the opportunity to do such a life-changing thing at 22 years old, and also having the support of my football coaches to do that as well, helped me make my decision.
What did that mean to have the support of your coaches behind you?
It's a huge relief. I don't know of many people who get to miss football games, and they trust me to do some things on the field. So the fact that they were willing to have me go do something else that wasn't football related, but have them understand the gravity of that opportunity, it meant a lot to me.
Good luck and congratulations.
Thank you, Scott.
Flags. Sorry, trying to get off mute. Evan, what put you on the path to be pursuing the Rhodes Scholar? Did someone suggest to you that you should do this? Or, I mean, how did it all start?
So I had a little bit of familiarity with the opportunity because I've had classes with Rhodes Scholars who have been selected the past few years just through my political science coursework. But I knew, and I've always known that I wanted to do something big and make an impact on my community. I'm very passionate about environmental matters. So I was exploring various opportunities. I've had the grades to look at graduate education. So when I was perusing through all the graduate scholarship opportunities, when I read the criteria for the Rhodes, it stood out to me as the one opportunity that best embodied what I'm trying to do. And that's how I made the decision to apply.
So what is, I mean, a Rhodes Scholar isn't strictly all academics. There's other elements. What are some of the criteria? I think it's more of a whole person thing, isn't it?
It is absolutely. Academics are probably a quarter of what they're looking for. It's also wanting to make an impact on people in your community, wanting to do things bigger than yourself, caring beyond, your individual, and also excellence in other things, energy to use your talents to the full in something like football or whatever you devote your time to.
So what were some of the things you highlighted along those lines, beyond academics?
I've had opportunities to do 2 research studies. So I'm doing an honors major here at USNA, and I'm doing some environmental justice research. And then I picked up a fellowship with the Center for the Study of the Presidency and Congress in DC. So as a presidential fellow, I'm also doing some research there on the US Congress. I am involved with the Green Club here at USNA, and I've kind of spearheaded the recycling efforts brigade-wide, bridging the student body and the facilities. So I've done some of that this year. And then obviously the Division I football commitment, that was a huge thing that I could put on my application as well.
And the people that judge this, they put account sports athletics like that?
They do, absolutely. I'm not sure if they understand the commitment that comes with playing football at a place like the Naval Academy, but it's certainly one of the things they look for is excellence outside of the classroom, for sure.
So if you were to be the district winner, is there another level to determine whether you get to go to Cambridge or Oxford? Is it Oxford?
Correct. It is Oxford. And no, I'll know on Saturday whether or not I have one of the scholarships.
Wow. So if you do indeed, that would mean that following graduation, maybe next fall, you would go over?
That's correct. Yep. I'd immediately go to Oxford and study for 1 to 2 years.
So I'm sure you needed letters of recommendation. Would you have professors do it? Or do you get Brian Newberry to do it? Who provides a letter of recommendation for Evan Warren to be a Rhodes Scholar?
I did. I drew from my political science department. I think I had 4 of my professors support me from there. I actually had Colonel Mattori, who was our O rep. I had him write one on the football experience. I didn't want to burden my coaches with that on top of game planning and whatnot. And then I had one of my high school principals write one as well from back home. So we tried to get as diverse of a group of people as possible to reflect all of my experiences.
Well, that was my last question. I mean, Westminster High, I don't know how many Rhodes Scholars Westminster High has produced, but you're proud to be a public school kid who's getting an opportunity at a high academic level like this?
I'm not certain the number of Westminster High School Rhodes Scholars either, but that's not important. I am incredibly blessed to have so much support from back home. And I have no doubt in my mind that being a graduate of Westminster High School and having all of the energy and time that was poured into me there has put me on this path. So I'm very grateful.
Pete Medhurst would have been the only Rhodes Scholar from Southern High in Anne Arundel County, except for he chose a broadcasting career instead of pursuing the opportunity to go over there to Oxford.
Yeah, no doubt. Trust me, the only thing that Evan and I have in common is that we were kickers. Evan, first of all, who was your coach at Westminster?
I had Coach Matt Studi for 2 years, and then I had Coach Chris Bassler for my senior year.
When you look through that part of time, you and obviously, Jake being from there, to be able to carry on that legacy and maybe, if it inspires other kids from Westminster and maybe even other surrounding areas, because I know that area is so close knit. If it inspires kids to maybe seek out the Naval Academy and academia like this, do you feel that this has all been worth it if they see that?
Absolutely. That alone would make it worth it. I care so much about that community. There's so many great things that go on there. And Jake and I were just back home 2 weeks ago watching them play crosstown rival Winners Mill. And it just made me so happy to be back and see a little bit of the impact I'm able to have and see what everyone's doing there. It means so much to me.
I was going to say my daughter's team has had to go up there several times and play now. What is it about that area? I know it's small in its general nature. It's kind of spread out. There's still a little bit of rural still left in the area. But what is it about that area where it's close knit and it's a real small but very proud community?
I think everyone just takes pride in what they do. Westminster High School has so many high quality people that are so giving in their time and really care about those around them. And I think those kind of things I carry with me to this day. And I wouldn't trade it for anything where I grew up and the things I, got to experience and do.
I know sports kind of takes care of itself, but were there people there that kind of inspired you academically to really concentrate on that part of it as well?
Absolutely. My freshman year, I had a government teacher, Aaron Robinson, who's now a vice principal at Westminster High School. And he helped me get involved with the Student Government Association. And he exposed me to that whole world, which ended up with me serving on the Board of Education. So him and gosh, so many other people who I don't want to name anymore because I just leave so many out. But all of the teachers and administration at Westminster High School, the athletic director, Terry Malloy, they were all core foundational people to, me growing and developing into who I am today.
Clearly at that age, you had already kind of figured out, how to manage your time. You just ran down the list talking to Bill. How on earth, and we talk about time management all the time, the Naval Academy, but how on earth do you fit all of that in to do it? I mean, a lot of people do a lot of things. They may not do them all successfully, but to be able to do them all as successfully as you are right now at the Naval Academy, what's the key to that?
I think the Naval Academy is the perfect place to do it. They teach you immediately from your first days here how to load a bunch of things into a cram schedule and make do. And I think for me, the biggest thing that helps me do it is having the angle of mind of, what I want to accomplish and all the good things I can do. The thought of improving other people's lives, I think, is what does it for me. So I'm just super efficient with my time. I'm lucky to still find time to, see my friends, see my family. But I'm just super efficient. Every free minute I have where I'm not doing something else, I'm working towards my goals, which are, academic and football.
Is that part of when they talk about how they build leaders? You're trying to lead in a lot of different ways. Is that the inspiration there?
Some of it, absolutely. I bear the burden of knowing that in very short period of time, I'll be out in the fleet and I'll be charged with leading people's sons and daughters, sailors, Marines. So that's absolutely a huge motivation to be the best I can be and make the most of every opportunity that I have while I'm here.
It's awesome stuff. Good luck.
Pete, appreciate it.
Let's throw in too that he's got a 4.0 GPA too. One thing he left out. Wyckoff.
Evan, how did you develop your passion for the environment?
Good question. I took an environmental studies class in middle school, and that really opened my eyes to all of these pressing issues that seem to not really have a solution, even though the immediacy and the irreversible impacts were pretty astounding. So that opened my eyes to it. I watched a documentary called The Last Mountain, where an environmental lawyer goes to West Virginia and helps transition the community from mountaintop coal removal mining to hopefully renewable energy. And seeing the resistance that people had to such a movement kind of blew me away. It seemed, to me, pretty simplistic, the need to protect the environment and how it can improve people's lives. I've also had some experience with it back home and weighing, the demands of industry with the needs of the community. So I think all of that inspired the interest in the environment. And ever since then, I've read a ton into it, and I'm remain convinced it's one of the most pressing issues that my generation will face.
What would it mean to you not only to represent the Naval Academy and also to represent Westminster High School, but to represent your teammates as a Rhodes Scholar?
It's a huge part of it too. I'm honestly shocked. We've only had 2 Rhodes Scholars as a part of this program, and then the last one being 1947 with Admiral Turner. So it would mean everything to vault Navy football to that stage and be a representation of what this program stands for.
When did you realize you were able to kick a football a long ways?
Stopped playing soccer in 3rd grade, I think. And the bargain I struck with my mom was I could play football if I kicked. So she signed me up for the Matt Stover football camp. And I won my age group. And that was when I realized it could be something that I could do in the long term. I started specializing in kicking in high school. And that's when I started exploring the national stage and competing against the best kids in the country. And I began to realize it could be something that I could do along with my collegiate studies.
With your background and all the success you had at Westminster, in addition to your extracurricular activities, why was the decision made of the Naval Academy? I'm sure there were a lot of high institutions knocking on your door.
I did. I was fortunate to have an offer to another Power 5 school, but when it came down to it, I realized that the service academies were exactly what I wanted to do. I narrowed it down to here in Army almost immediately because the call to service and the leadership development spoke really strongly to me. I don't think there's a better place where you can challenge and refine yourself to become the best version of yourself. Plus the familiarity of Annapolis and, the beauty around me. I'm sitting in a room looking out at the Severn River right now, and you just can't beat it. So I couldn't say no to the immense opportunity that this place offers.
And how cool is it each and every day to walk out of that building onto a practice field and to be practicing football on the banks of the Severn River?
It's pretty cool. And to me, it kind of reminds me that, football is what I'm doing right now, and I want to be the best I can as a kicker. But also at the end of the day, the river, the environment, that's right there too. And it's just a reminder of what I'm working towards and why it's so important.
Thank you.
Scott.
Wags.
Evan, what are you hoping to do for service selection?
I put Navy pilot as my first choice, and we'll find out next week. So fingers crossed.
Anything you'd like to fly in particular? Any particular aircraft?
I think fixed wing would probably be the coolest. I had an opportunity to fly with the P-8 squadron out in Whidbey Island, Washington this past summer, and I love that experience. And you can't say no to jets either. So that's going to be the ultimate goal.
All right. Thanks, Evan. Good luck.
Thank you.
Pete.
Evan, I know you got to serve first. Any chance at some point, we're going to try to vote for Governor Evan Warren or State Senator Evan Warren? It seems that kind of stuff matters to you.
It does indeed. I wouldn't rule it out. I think from my past experience, I've seen that holding a public position is one way to make a change. I saw that on the Board of Education. I think I'll definitely do something, whether it's judicial or legislative, something relating to public policy to make an impact in my community, whether that's the Department of Defense or the nation at large. I'm going to do anything I can and make an impact wherever I can.
If you need somebody to work on your campaign, I'm right there, Hoss. Appreciate it. Good luck.
I'll keep that in mind. Thank you, Pete.
Got one before we go. Evan, can you tell us what's Friday and what's Saturday? How does it work?
Yeah, so Friday afternoon, all the candidates will convene in DC, and there will be a social engagement. Not exactly sure what that looks like yet, but it'll be an hour or two of getting to know the panelists, who are mostly all Rhodes Scholars themselves. So all the candidates will get to know all the panelists. And after that, Friday evening into Saturday morning will be interviews. So I don't know what time my interview is yet, but it'll be at one of those two slots. And then the big conflict with the game is when all the candidates reconvene in DC from 2 to 5 p.m. on Saturday. And that's when re-interviews occur and when the winners are announced.
I expect a text message on Saturday after you get it, so I can let everybody know.
Absolutely.
And I'll give you a score update. Anyone have anything else for Evan?
Evan, did you say how many people are there with you? I can't remember. I think you did, but
13, I think you said.
Yeah, so I'm District 5 as a Maryland resident, and because my college resides in Annapolis. And in District 5, there will be 2 scholarships given out, and there's 14 of us who will be interviewing on Saturday.
do you
Anyone-
randomly know any of the others?
There's actually one other midshipman who's in my district who was afforded an opportunity. So I know of her, but I don't know anyone else yet. So it'll be a surprise on Friday.
She happened to be a varsity athlete.
She's on the women's rugby team. So yes.
What's her name?
AJ Ward.
Coach, what makes UAB's quarterback Jacob Zeno such a quality player? He's putting up huge numbers this season.
Yeah, I think I think he's a great player. He's obviously well coached. They do a great job schematically putting him in position to make plays. He's able to distribute the ball to a lot of different playmakers, and they got guys that I'm just really impressed with. I'm impressed with him in terms of his decision making, his calmness in the pocket, the way that he can scramble and make plays, the way that he can make plays in the run game. He's an accurate passer in the short game, the intermediate game, and the deep game. I mean, he's a complete package at quarterback, and they've done a really nice job with him.
I would imagine also twofold when your head coach is a former great both college and pro quarterback like Trent Dilfer, that can really add to the experience factor, that kind of the little nuances that he would take away.
You know, I don't know Coach Dilfer personally, but obviously have watched him from afar for a long time and been nothing but impressed with him as a player and a coach. And I'm sure his fingerprints are all over Jacob and what he's been able to do at that position and his growth at that position. I think, you have a guy that's played at that level, obviously won a Super Bowl, and been an excellent football coach as well, and got his teams to perform at extremely high levels. Just to have that knowledge and expertise, to be able to relay that to the players, I think is something that's critical, and sees the game through his eyes and able to be able to articulate those things to him. I'm sure that's what's going on there, and that's why you see a guy continue to grow as the season moves along the way he has.
What's been the biggest focus for you guys getting ready for UAB?
We got to play our style of football. We got to play our brand of football. And we were just a little off on Saturday, and it was disappointing in terms of those things, and it's completely my fault. I got to make sure that we are on edge when we play the game, and we play the game with a intense fixation to detail, whatever our job is, and we're itching to do it so well that we can't get it wrong, and we've done it so many times in practice that we can't get it wrong, and that's been the main focus, is just our fixation to detail and chomping at the bit to get out there.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Wags.
So why don't you kind of review the Temple game, Coach? What is your assessment of the defense's performance?
Well, it was obviously disappointing. We had an extremely slow start. They scored 17 points pretty quickly on the first 3 possessions against us. And to be honest with you, had opportunities to get off the field, and we weren't able to get off the field. And that's something we've been pretty doggone good at most of the year. Played a little bit more inspired football as the game moved along in the second and third quarter. We're able to take the ball away, help us set up some short fields for the offense, and have us get back in the game. And then the 2 critical drives at the end of the football game, we weren't able to get stops to get off the field again. And 2 critical third downs, we call them 4-point plays in the red zone, where we have an opportunity to force a field goal, get off the field in 3rd and long. Weren't able to do that. Really got to analyze, what we're doing there, how we're doing it. If we had any type of tendencies that allowed them to know what we were going to be in at that point. And then what we were in, we need to execute better. And that's on me.
As far as the pass defense, I mean, obviously you got another prolific passing team coming in here. You got to get that fixed in a hurry. What did you think the issues were with the pass defense? I know it's hard to get pressure on a guy when he's getting the ball out quick. What was your thoughts there?
Yeah, we've got to be a little bit more multiple with what we're doing. We've got to be, we have to consistently align where we need to align and play with the leverage that we need to play with. And then we need to make sure that we do a good job attacking the football when it's in the air. When we do have opportunities to disrupt the quarterback, we got to make sure that we disrupt the quarterback. We hit him, but we didn't sack him on Saturday. We were able to get 2 interceptions that I thought we did a nice job disguising coverages, and showed something and got into something else. We got to make sure that we're consistent with our execution of that. And we're all on the same page with what we're trying to do in terms of our execution piece of things.
So I believe UAB will be a pretty quick passing team as well. They don't have too much long developing pass plays. Is that, when you're not able to it's hard to get pressure when the ball's coming out so quick. How do you handle that?
We've just got to be on point with what we do. And we've got to make sure that we're disruptive when we have an opportunity to be disruptive, and can't get frustrated giving up a few yards here or there. And I told Coach Newberry I probably pressed a little bit early in the game, and it led to a couple poor decisions on my part that put us in some tough situations. I've got to be better in terms of those things and making sure we're just setting the kids down in the right spots and they can get their cleats in the ground and then go play dark side defense, go play on edge and make sure that we're violent when we get there, because these guys do a great job getting the ball to playmakers in space, and we've got to make sure that we do a great job leveraging the football, tackling the football. When we have opportunities to disrupt the ball, we're able to disrupt the ball. We've just got to do things a lot cleaner, a lot crisper, a lot better, and to do them better, we got to coach them better.
So when you say you pressed, and Coach Newberry kind of alluded to this on Monday, what do you mean? Just maybe blitz where you didn't have to blitz, or what?
Yeah, I think just probably a little overly aggressive at times, and I need to make sure that I'm putting the guys in good positions to be able to do so, and make sure I do a good job just continuing to stick with the game plan. You know, we had guys right there. We just got to continue to coach them up on exactly what they're seeing at that point, and just, you know, continue to work on our execution of the game plan throughout the course of the football game.
So against a team like UAB, I mean, with that, it throws it so much. And do you try to go like more dime where you're taking a couple linebackers off the field and get more defensive back types on there?
You know, that's always a part of our thought process, is just putting guys out there in positions to be successful. You know, they're good running the football too, you know, and when they're able to do both, you know, it makes it extremely challenging. I think that, you know, there are about 150 yards a game rushing, and 300 yards passing. So they're fairly explosive in both those aspects, you know, so you got to be very calculated with your personnel decisions, where you're putting people. They do a great job stretching you horizontally and stretching you vertically in both the run and the pass game. So we got to make sure that we're putting guys in the right spot. But yeah, that's certainly something that goes into consideration.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Wags.
Scott Wyckoff.
Coach, when you come back home from a tough loss like that, when you are home, how important is it that someone steps up and makes a play early in the game that kind of sets the tone for the defense?
Yeah, you know, I think, you know, the big thing for us is we got to go out there and we got to dominate our job and just do our 111th. And when we do that, we're pretty doggone good on defense, you know, and when we're out there not quite on edge, we're just okay. And being just okay isn't good enough around here. We've got to be on edge. We got to go out there from the opening kickoff and go with the mindset that we have to dominate our job, whatever it is on whatever play. And if we do that, Scott, our guys will have opportunities to make plays in the game when we do those things. And you know, we don't have to go out there and play with outside of ourselves. I talk to the guys about that a lot. We don't need superhuman performance or anything like that. We need every individual at his absolute best, crystal clear on what his expectations are, what his job are, and then going out there to physically dominate whatever his job is in that particular instance.
Is an example of that the long forced fumble and recovery at the end of that long run, where maybe someone on the team might have been beaten, but one of the 11 was responsible for themselves and was able to get down there and create that play?
Yeah, that particular play is obviously one that's you're not super proud of initially, and then it turns into one that sort of exemplifies our defense. You know, and Beatty Williams, you know, unfortunately we're a little late getting over, and we miss the tackle, and it goes for a long run. We get a poor pursuit angle, and it's able to go a little bit longer. But he did what we call a hot stove. So when you touch the ground, as soon as you land on the ground, you pop back up and you run. Just like when you're a little kid, you touch the stove the first time and you pull that hand off there. That's what we want to see our guys in terms of getting off the ground. So he shot up, got off the ground, went down there, shoot about 70 yards downfield, and then white striped it. Punched the white stripe, drill that we do every week. Punched the white stripe and was able to knock the ball out. And then Will Harbor, it just did a phenomenal job. It was him and the ball carrier, the receiver at that point. And the ball's loose on the ground, and Will dove out, knocked into the receiver, and punched the ball back, giving our guys an opportunity to get the ball there. And that's one I didn't quite notice it on the field, but then I watched on film and saw that was proud of Will. And then, you've got a Raider, a big guy, a big combo guy, and Luke Pierce, another 70 yards down the field, that gets the fumble recovery because he's running and sprinting to the ball, playing with, what we call around here elite eat. So that was obviously a play that sort of exemplifies who we are defensively. We're not going to give up on anything. I was really proud of that, the way that they kept playing at that point.
Thanks. Have a good practice today.
Thanks, Scott. Appreciate it.
Flags.
So, Coach Newberry indicated after the game on Saturday he was kind of surprised by the defensive performance because the unit had been playing so well, in particular against Charlotte and Air Force. Were you kind of surprised? Did that come out of nowhere in your view?
Yeah, I thought we had been playing really good football. I thought we had 2 really good weeks of practice. I'll take complete ownership of, for whatever reason, we were a little flat and not playing with a lot of eat when the game started. And that's on us as coaches to make sure that our guys are ready to be out there. And for whatever reason, I don't know if you get a couple pats on the back and people say you're playing good defense or whatever. Tried our best to guard against those things, but weren't quite able to get it done. And I think for us, understanding as a defense is we're good enough to beat anybody, but we're also if we're not on our A game, we'll get beat by anyone. And just to understand that, I think that was a life lesson for us. We probably had our best Monday practice of the year yesterday. Excited about that and excited to get it back out and get to work here for Tough Tuesday.
What would you say was the percentage of zone and man-to-man pass coverage on Saturday?
I got to look at it to give you the exact percentages. We gave them a lot of different looks. We gave them some man looks, some zone looks, some open middle looks, some closed middle looks. We gave him a lot of different looks to try to some drop 8, some drop 7, some drop 6, some 5-man pressures, all out pressures, 3-man rushes, 4-man rushes. We gave quite a few different looks. We were able to get back there and pressure him and hurry him at times, but not really rattle him and get him off his mark. I thought he played an excellent football game, and I got to do a better job being able to be even more multiple to help our guys out.
Is it frustrating when you see the percentage? I mean, the completion percentage was, phenomenal. I mean, he didn't miss a whole lot. It's like pitching catch. Is it frustrating when you see that? I mean, you're just not challenging balls and pass breakups and the whole 9.
Yeah, I thought they did he did a really nice job putting the ball in catchable locations for his guys, where we really couldn't quite get to the football with where we were at that particular point. And a lot of that comes back down to, our alignment, understanding leverage, understanding the intent of the call and what we have going on, where the ball is going to be out there. But I think EJ Warner's a really, really good quarterback and made some exceptional throws. It's got some big targets with big catch radiuses that went up and attacked the football in the air. Where we've got to be better with our finish skills. We've got to be better maintaining our leverage, and all those things are things that as coaches we got to coach better. So our guys just understand it absolutely crystal clear in terms of our alignment, our leverage, being able to attack the football when it's in the air, we just got to do things better, Wags.
So is this a big, you and Coach Lewis put your heads together and figure this out? Because obviously the pass defense is going to be a big issue again this Saturday.
Yeah, our entire defensive staff does an amazing job. Coach Lewis, Coach New, Coach Green, Coach Brown, Wimberly, Hall. I just think that everybody on the defensive staff does a great job. We all put our minds together to find what we think is the best way to attack each particular opponent. And I'm excited to get back to work. Obviously, this is a big challenge this week with UAB, how explosive they are on offense. 450 a game. They were over 500 in this last game, scoring over 30 points a game. I mean, they're an explosive offense, and we've got to be at our best on Saturday.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Wags.
I'm going to end it with one more. I'm going to change gears a little bit. Navy's hosting the Veteran Classic this weekend on Friday. And the first game, Collegiate Charleston is playing Duquesne. Tell us about your relationship with Collegiate Charleston head coach Pat Kelsey.
So it's funny you say that. So Coach Brown and I were just talking about Coach Kelsey last night. He went to Elder High School. I went to Elder High School. Ricky Brown went to Elder High School. We're all in different classes. If you're from the west side of Cincinnati, you're extremely proud about that. And Pat Kelsey is basically like a living legend on the west side of Cincinnati. So he took the Elder basketball team to the 1993 state championship game and won it, which was a huge moment on the west side of Cincinnati. He was the starting point guard on that team. I remember going to the games with my dad and watching Pat throw alley-oops to Dave Ginn. It was a big guy that played on that particular team, and being excited to go watch those guys play. The Kelsey family, Walt, his younger brother, is a year older than me. Somebody that I absolutely love and respect, have a great relationship with, and his wife as well. Pat Kelsey is just he's a living legend. He's an absolute fireball. Somebody that I love following on Twitter. I just think he does things the right way and always has. And Coach Brown, I got to give this one because Ricky was talking about this last night. This is as good as it gets. He was banged up. So Pat Kelsey was the freshman coach at Elder High School when Ricky was a freshman. So my sophomore year, and Ricky wasn't able to play for whatever reason. So he was in charge of doing the film for practice, and apparently was not very good at it. And Pat was giving him the business quite often about his lack of expertise in terms of filming practice over there in the pit at Elder High School. So it's as good as it gets, and wish the College of Charleston another successful season, man. The Kelsey family is a great family, and I know the Elder High School community, all of us on the west side of Cincinnati, are super proud of Pat Kelsey and all his accomplishments.
Well, he's going to be over in Terwilliger on Thursday around 10 a.m. So hopefully you can grab him beforehand.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd love to see him. That'd be great.
All right. Thanks, Coach. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Strauss. Appreciate it.